Have you ever met a woman who walks into a room and instantly captures everyone's attention? Not because she's the loudest or the youngest, but because there's something about her that just radiates strength, warmth, and confidence. That kind of presence doesn't come from luck or looks. It comes from within, from a series of subtle, powerful habits developed over time. And here's the best part. You already have everything you need to cultivate that same energy. Today, we're diving into 12 quiet but magnetic habits that make older women truly irresistible. Some of them are so simple, they might surprise you, but don't underestimate their impact. Stick with me through the end. You might just recognize a few of these habits in yourself or feel inspired to start embracing them today. Let's get into it. 1. Slowing down and owning your calm. In a world that glorifies hustle, there's something quietly powerful about a woman who chooses to slow down. She doesn't rush. She doesn't chase. She moves with intention. That kind of presence stands out because calm is rare, and rare is irresistible. Slowing down isn't about doing less. It's about doing things with more awareness, whether it's sipping your morning tea in silence, taking a mindful walk without distractions, or simply pausing to breathe before responding. These small acts of stillness speak volumes. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel at ease. And when you carry a calm energy, you don't just bring peace to your own life. You become a source of peace for others. That alone makes you magnetic. Because the truth is, a woman who knows how to be still, who doesn't need to fill every silence or prove herself constantly, is someone who knows her worth. And that kind of quiet confidence, it's unforgettable. 2. Smiling with depth, not for show. There's something incredibly captivating about a woman who smiles, not to impress, not to hide, but simply because she's at peace with who she is. As we age, our smiles change, lines appear, the edges soften. But here's the truth. Those little lines, they're not flaws. They're proof of a life lived with joy, laughter, and resilience. A genuine smile carries stories. It reflects kindness, empathy, and a deep sense of self-acceptance. It tells people, without a single word, I've been through things and I still choose light. You don't need perfect teeth or flawless skin to light up a room. You just need to smile like you mean it. That kind of smile, one that comes from the heart, not habit, is magnetic. And here's the beautiful part. When you embrace your smile, others feel safe to do the same. It creates a ripple effect. Your warmth encourages warmth in return. And that shared energy, that's where real connection begins. So go ahead, wear your smile like a signature. Let it say, this is me, I've lived, I've grown, and I still find reasons to smile. 3. Saying no without guilt. There's a quiet kind of power in a woman who can say no and not apologize for it. Maybe for most of your life, you've been the dependable one, the one who says, sure, I'll help, the one who cancels her own plans to be there for someone else, the one who bites her tongue to avoid conflict. Sound familiar? But somewhere along the journey, usually around midlife, after enough yes moments that drained more than they fulfilled, you wake up and realize something profound. You don't owe everyone your time. You don't owe everyone your energy. And most importantly, you don't need to feel guilty for honoring your own boundaries. Let me be clear. Saying no doesn't make you rude. It doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. It means you've taken the time to understand what aligns with your peace, your joy, and your values, and you're no longer willing to compromise those just to be liked. Imagine this. Someone asks you to attend a last-minute dinner, but your body's tired and your soul's craving quiet. In the past, you might have said yes out of guilt, but now you say, thank you for thinking of me, but I'm going to rest tonight. And you don't explain. You don't overcompensate. You simply allow yourself to choose you. That moment right there, that's growth, that's confidence. And yes, that's incredibly attractive. Because here's the truth. People respect a woman who respects herself. When you say no without flinching, you send a signal, not just to others, but to the universe, that your time is valuable, your needs are real, and your peace is non-negotiable. Even more, your no creates space for deeper yeses. Yes to people who truly see you. Yes to moments that nourish you. Yes to the life you actually want to live. And maybe, just maybe, you'll inspire someone else to start saying no too. Not out of fear or frustration, but out of love. Love for themselves. Now tell me, what's one thing you've been wanting to say no to lately? 4. Letting your style speak for you, not your age. Somewhere along the way, society decided that women of a certain age should tone it down, stick to neutrals, cover up, blend in, act your age. But here's the thing. What if you stopped dressing for your age and started dressing for your spirit? Style is not about following trends. It's about expressing who you are without having to say a word. You've lived through decades of life, love, loss, laughter. Why should your wardrobe be any less vibrant than you are? If red makes you feel powerful, wear red. If you love oversized earrings or a bold scarf or leopard print shoes, do it. Not because it's fashionable, but because it feels like you. Let me share a story. I once met a woman in her early 70s at a bookstore. She wore a long denim coat covered in embroidered flowers, silver rings stacked on her fingers, and a head full of wild curls she didn't bother to dye. She was magnetic, not because she was trying to look young, but because she looked like herself, confident, playful, alive. That's the secret. Your style should match your energy, not your birth certificate. When you dress in a way that honors your personality, whether that's classic and minimal, bold and artsy, or cozy and earthy, you tell the world, this is who I am, I'm not hiding, and people notice, because authenticity is always in style. Let's not forget how it feels. The moment you put on something that fits you, something that makes you stand a little taller, walk with a little more ease, that's not vanity, that's alignment. That's self-celebration. And that, my friend, is irresistible. So the next time you're standing in front of your closet, don't ask, is this age appropriate? Instead, ask, does this feel like me? Because style isn't about dressing young. It's about dressing true. And nothing is more attractive than a woman who wears her story with pride. Every color, every curve, every detail. 5. Finding the magic in humor, especially your own. One of the most disarming, magnetic things about an older woman, her ability to laugh, especially at herself. There's a certain kind of charm that only comes with time. It's not the polished, performative humor of trying to be the funniest in the room. No, it's the warm, knowing kind. The humor that comes from having lived through enough ups and downs to know when to take things seriously and when to just laugh and let go. You've earned that laugh. The one that bubbles up when life gets messy, when the plan falls apart, when the pie burns but the grandkids still eat it anyway. The one that says, yeah, I've been through worse, and somehow still finds joy in the chaos. Because here's the truth. Being able to find lightness in everyday life is not a weakness, it's a superpower. I remember once seeing a woman, probably in her 60s, trip slightly at a cafe. Instead of looking embarrassed, she burst out laughing and said, well, that's what I get for trying to be elegant in these shoes. Everyone around her started smiling. She turned what could have been an awkward moment into a shared human one. That's the kind of magnetism you can't fake. Humor makes you approachable. It makes people want to be near you, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And let's be honest, laughter is one of the few things that never ages. It keeps you young, not in looks, but in spirit. And when you can laugh at yourself, you tell the world, I don't take myself too seriously, and I'm okay with that. That's rare. That's attractive. That's freedom. So whether it's a funny story, a moment of silliness, or just laughing at how unpredictable life can be, don't hold back. Let people hear the joy in your voice. Let them see the twinkle in your eye. Because a woman who laughs freely carries a light that people want to be near. And that light, it never fades. 6. Prioritizing your health. Like it's a love letter to yourself. There's a quiet elegance in a woman who takes care of herself, not to impress anyone, not to chase youth, but because she knows she deserves to feel good in her own skin. As we age, our bodies change. Our energy shifts. But taking care of your health isn't about fighting that change. It's about honoring it. It's about treating your body like the home it's always been, the one that's carried you through heartbreaks, births, celebrations, and quiet mornings. Whether it's going for a gentle walk, cooking meals that nourish you, taking time to stretch, or simply listening when your body says, rest. These aren't just routines, they're rituals of self-respect. And here's something we don't talk about enough. When you feel good in your body, when you're not constantly pushing through exhaustion or ignoring what you need, your whole presence changes. You walk differently, you breathe deeper, you glow. From the inside out. I once knew a woman in her late 60s who practiced yoga every morning. Nothing intense, just a few stretches and deep breaths by her window. When I asked her why she did it, she smiled and said, "It reminds me that I'm still here, and that being here is a gift." That's what this habit is really about. It's not about size. It's not about weight. It's about energy, vitality, presence. A healthy woman doesn't mean a flawless woman. It means a woman who listens to her aches, her emotions, her needs, and responds with care. And yes, people feel that. They're drawn to the calm in your eyes, the steadiness in your step, the way you show up fully because you've taken time to tend to yourself first. Because when you treat your body, your mind, and your spirit like they matter, others take note. And that kind of self-devotion, it's not selfish, it's magnetic. So take the walk, drink the water, breathe deeply, stretch often, laugh more, and rest when you need to. Because the better you feel, the brighter you shine, and the world notices. 7. Keeping your passions alive, no matter what age you are. There's something deeply magnetic about a woman who's lit up by something. A spark in her eyes, a rhythm in her voice when she talks about the things she loves. That kind of energy, you can't fake it, and you certainly can't ignore it. As we move through life, raising families, building careers, caring for others, it's so easy to lose touch with the things that once made us feel most alive. But that doesn't mean they're gone. Sometimes they're just waiting for you to come back. Maybe it's painting, maybe it's gardening, writing, traveling, baking, volunteering, playing music, or simply learning something new just because you want to. It doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to be yours. I once spoke with a woman in her early 70s who had just started taking piano lessons. When I asked her why, she said, "Because I've always loved music, and for the first time in my life, I finally have time to play." There was a kind of joy in her words that made me smile for days. That's what passion does. It gives you back you. And here's the secret. A woman who is full of curiosity, who's still exploring, still creating, still open to joy. She's endlessly attractive. Not because she's trying to prove anything, but because she's connected to something deeper, her aliveness. When you pursue your interests, you remind the world and yourself that you are not just someone's mother or wife or employee or caretaker. You're you, a full, multidimensional, ever-evolving person. That's what makes you magnetic, because passion, at any age, is contagious. People are drawn to your energy, your excitement, your presence, and maybe even your bravery for picking up something new or returning to something old just because it brings you joy. So go back to that project. Take the class. Write the poem, plant the seeds, sing out loud, make space for the things that light you up inside. Because a woman who's still discovering, still dreaming, still playing, is a woman who will never be boring. 8. Mastering the art of listening. Truly listening. In a world where everyone seems to be talking, posting, sharing, interrupting, oversharing, there's something almost revolutionary about a woman who simply listens, not passively, not waiting for her turn to speak, but really, truly listening with her eyes, her body, her full presence. Active listening is more than just hearing words. It's hearing between the words. It's paying attention to tone, emotion, hesitation. It's holding space for someone without judgment, without rushing to fix, explain, or respond. And here's where the magic happens. When you listen like that, people feel seen. And feeling seen is one of the most irresistible feelings in the world. I remember once sitting next to a woman at a family gathering. She barely said a word, but the way she looked at you when you spoke, the soft nod, the gentle smile, the quiet "I understand" in her eyes, it made you feel like your story mattered, like you mattered. That's power. The kind of power that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. As an older woman, you bring something to the table that no book or podcast can replicate: lived wisdom. But you don't have to shout it. Sometimes, just being that steady, grounded presence, the one who listens without judgment, teaches more than words ever could. And you'll notice something fascinating. People will start opening up to you more. They'll seek you out. Not because you have the answers, but because being around you feels safe, calming, real. That's the energy of someone who doesn't need to prove her worth, because she already knows it. So the next time you're in a conversation, pause. Look someone in the eye. Put down the phone. Lean in and just listen. Because the woman who listens deeply is often the one people never forget. 9. Choosing humor over heaviness. There's something incredibly refreshing about a woman who can laugh, especially at life, and sometimes even at herself. Not in a performative way, not forced, but with a kind of quiet joy that says, I've seen a lot, and I've learned to take what matters seriously and let the rest go. Humor at this stage of life is different. It's not about being witty or entertaining a crowd. It's about recognizing the absurdity in the everyday, the forgotten names, the crooked birthday cake, the time you wore mismatched shoes to the store and didn't even notice. It's real. It's human. It's freeing. And here's the secret. That kind of lightness is magnetic, because life can be heavy. Being around someone who makes it feel a little lighter, that's a gift. So go ahead. Laugh at the mess, the chaos, the awkward moments. Tell the story with the funny ending. Make someone's day a little brighter with your joy, because a woman who still laughs freely has something most people want: a heart that's healed, a mind that's open, and a soul that knows joy isn't something you find, it's something you choose. 10. Practicing daily gratitude, even for the small things. Gratitude changes everything, not just how others experience you, but how you experience your own life. When a woman reaches a point in her journey where she can look around and say, this moment is enough, there's something deeply attractive about that. It's not that her life is perfect, it's that she's chosen to focus on what's still good, what's still here, and what's still worth waking up for. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures. It lives in the little things. The first sip of warm coffee, the quiet of a morning walk, the sound of laughter from the other room. And the more you notice those things, the more magnetic your energy becomes. Because joy is contagious, and people want to be around someone who notices beauty where others overlook it. A woman grounded in gratitude radiates calm. She's not chasing more. She's appreciating now. And that kind of presence, it's unforgettable. 11th, Nurturing relationships that truly matter. At a certain point in life, you stop needing a crowded room. You realize it's not about how many people surround you. It's about who really shows up when it counts. There's something so attractive about a woman who protects her energy and invests it only in the relationships that feel mutual, meaningful, and honest. She's not afraid to let go of surface-level friendships. She's not chasing attention or approval. She's choosing connection, the real kind. And that choice? It gives her a quiet confidence. She builds her circle with care. Maybe it's a lifelong friend, a sister, a neighbor she has tea with once a week. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Because a woman who knows how to nurture the right relationships and walk away from the wrong ones is a woman who understands her worth. And that level of self-respect, it draws the right people in every time. 12. Becoming a better version of yourself every single day. Here's a truth not enough people talk about. Growth doesn't have an expiration date. There is nothing more captivating than a woman who continues to evolve, not because she has to, but because she wants to. She reads, she reflects, she challenges old beliefs, she learns new things, not to stay relevant, but to stay connected to her own spirit. A woman who's committed to becoming a better version of herself, little by little, day by day, is a woman who never gets stuck. And that kind of energy? It's alive. It's magnetic. She doesn't compare herself to who she used to be. She honors that woman, but she doesn't cling to her. Instead, she asks, what can I learn today? What can I release? What can I step into? That's not reinvention. That's reclamation. She's not trying to be someone else. She's just becoming more of herself, the truest, deepest version of who she's always been underneath it all. And that journey, that quiet transformation, that's what makes her irresistible. You see, being irresistible has nothing to do with youth, status, or perfection. It's about energy. It's about how you carry your story. It's in your stillness, your laughter, your honesty, your boundaries, and your growth. If even one of these habits spoke to you today, let it be a gentle reminder. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to shine. You are allowed to evolve without apology. Because the most powerful, radiant, magnetic woman in the room is usually the one who knows exactly who she is and chooses to show up fully anyway. So I have just one question. Which version of you are you ready to become next? If this video spoke to your heart, go ahead. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what resonated most. And don't forget to like and subscribe because we're building a space here for women who are growing, glowing, and not done yet. Thanks for spending this time with me. And remember, your story isn't slowing down. It's just getting richer.